Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I haven't had a chance to do my vlog, and so today I have time. I would like to talk about breathing technique, and that is my morning and evening routine. So I just finished reading two books. The first one called Breath, and the author named James Nestor. He is also a science journalist, and he has suffered asthma since he was a kid for many years. And he said that for the last few years, he also suffered pneumonia year after year. So finally, he decided to take the recommendations from his doctors to go to this breathing classes to strengthen his lungs and calm his mind. So that one evening, he was attending to this class, not very impressive room. He was going into the room, kind of dusty, and there was a group of people. So everyone took a spot, sat on the floor, crossed the leg, closed their eyes, and that's when the class began. And a few minutes into the session, he opened up his eyes and just to look around and see what other people were doing. And so people were doing what they're supposed to do, but in his mind, he was thinking, why am I here spending my evening with a group of people breathing some dusty air? And because the class was free, and he respected that terrible work, and he decided to continue. So 20 minutes into the session, he started to sweat profusely. His body temperature was rising. Even his instructor noticed that, came over, asked to see if he was okay, and he said, yes, I'm okay. And so that night, he went home. He slept through the night. The next day, he woke up. He felt very calm, and he noticed that some of the muscle tension were gone, and that lasted for a few days for him. So when he was writing this book, he did a lot of research, and he said researchers found that 90% of us are not breathing correctly. We're breathing too short and we're breathing too fast. And so by breathing correctly, we could expand our lung capacity by 30% more, and that's a lot. And by breathing correctly, we can improve our health, we can improve affect our sleep. It could improve our allergy, our digestive system, our teeth, our cranial bone, our overall health. And so he said, doesn't matter how old we are, doesn't matter where we at, what stage of our life that we are at, we can start anytime. So he presented a few methods, and I just picked one to do with my meditations, my routines. So I do that first thing in the morning when I woke up, and then I do that before bedtime. And he called that, it calls 4-7-8, and it's very easy to do. 4 seconds inhale, 7 seconds hold it for 7 seconds, and exhale 8 seconds. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you breathe out 8 seconds. And so that's the one that I use. And I have also used the other method, but with James Nestor, he really emphasizing breathing through the nose, because we have really good filtrations in the nose and the beneficials and all that, and do not breathe through the mouth. And the other book, it's from Wim Hof, W-I-M-H-O-F, and Wim Hof Iceman. He was knowing taking ice bath around the world, that many people are using his method now. Many testimonial and stating that they reversed many conditions, like example diabetes, MS, and even more severe autoimmune disease. So I have used his method when I was heavy medicated back in 2019. And the reason why I did his method, because I noticed it would give me energy to get through the morning, because I was having rapid heartbeat and also shortness of breath, and I couldn't carry any heavy, for example, like a grocery bag heavier than 8-10 pounds. And so I noticed that there was a little bit of improvement when I do it in the morning with my morning routine. But then when I got off the medications, I didn't continue, I didn't stick with that, because I was slacking off. And so now I'm got back into the routine. I have done that for over a month now. And so I want to talk about him a little bit more, just because it's very unique. He breaks so many world records, and even he holds a record now that nobody can break that just yet. And so this is 2008 in New York City. He submerged himself into an ice cube, which is they use 1,500 pounds of ice and just pour over him and only have his head above the ice, and his whole body was submerging into the ice cube. And so they were reading, he got wired up, and they were monitoring his vital sign. And so when he first got into the tank, his core temperature was at 97.7, and then 30 minutes later they measured him again, and his temperature was at 95.0. And he also they also measure his heart rate was kind of vary from 90 to 60, and then over 100, and then over 110. But his oxygen level, the saturation, was 100%, and also his respirator rate was 30. And after 1 hour, it read 33.6, and his heart rate was at 120, and then his oxygen level was still at 100%, and his respiratory rate was in 20s. And he broke the world record at that time, was 1 hour and 12 minutes. I believe now he could do it more than 2 hours, and kind of sound crazy. So he ran a marathon in the desert without drinking any water, and he also climbed the Mount Everest only wearing a pair of shorts. So in 2011, he caught the scientists' attention, and they were doing a test on him. So in 2011, he was injected endotoxin into his body. And so they wire him up, put him in a bed, they monitor him. It was in the lab, and the scientists asked him before they injected, they asked him if he say no, he can back out right now. And he said no. He said yes, 100%, I want to continue. So then he continued. He said yes, and they started to inject the endotoxin into his bloodstream. So it's a dead bacteria. That's what they're injecting into his blood, but it's harmless. But average person will get very sick. They get headaches, vomiting, nausea, back pain, muscle pain, and fever, at least for 3 hours. And so during this time, he was attached to the EEG, ECG machines, monitor his vital signs. So after 3 hours, he wasn't sick at all, and they were watching him. So he said at the beginning there was a little bit of headaches was coming on, and then it went away really fast because he started his breathing and his meditation, and so it went away and never came back. So the doctor and the scientists just couldn't believe that he can manipulate his immune system. And so of course they have to wait for the test the result to come back. And so then the result had come back. This is what the doctor got to say. It appeared through meditation. Wim Hof caused his hormone, which is the cortisol level, goes up higher than other test subject. Therefore, they concluded that he was able to influence the reactions of the immune system. So the inflammation cells had been suppressed to 1/3 to half compared to normal subject. And so it was very remarkable and extraordinary, they found. So on the other hand, scientifically, it's not proven because there's only one person can do it. So the scientific evidence is based on a group experimental measurements. So to prove that his method is working, that anyone can do it, he was assigned 24 people and divided into two groups and went through the same experiment. So he came back a few years later with another test. So he divided two groups, so 12 people in each group. So the 12 people were using breathing technique and meditations, were having the same result as Wim Hof the first time when he got tested, when he put through that test. And they never got sick and during the experiment. And the other group, of course, they got sick because they're just not doing any meditations, Wim Hof meditations and breathing technique. So the breathing technique does increase the epinephrine and adrenaline, which has been shown that anti-inflammatory effect. So it's able to secrete anti-inflammatory cytokine that prevent the immune system from going crazy. It's shown that in the test that the immune system was activated, but it never, it went slow down very quickly. That's why people didn't get the negative side effects from getting the endotoxin. So overreact of immune system, that indications of inflammation, and that's what happened to my conditions because my immune system was going crazy, thinking that there's something, that foreign thing that in my system they need to attack. So they're overreactive. So there are many patients were autoimmune disease using his method, and they're now symptom free. So I haven't completely, my symptom still comes and goes. I have to measure at least 3 months in a row that I don't have developed any symptoms, and I could be considered into a remission. But at this point, my symptom is less and less. I could feel that that day will come very soon. And so I have learned about him, all this stuff from YouTube and doing he posting stuff on the social media, and also I read his book. So I now doing his technique as well, and I'm gonna stick to that for a little bit longer. So one of his technique, I'm using it, is you breathe in all the way. So full inhalation, so 20 to 30 times, and then you exhale all the way. So you inhale and all the way, and then you exhale fully, 20 to 30 times, and then you hold it. So you hold until you feel that you have the urge to breathe again. So he said, don't force it. If you need to take a breath, just take a breath. So each time your lung will train your lung to go for further, to the duration would be last longer the second time, the third time. So one cycle, so one set is 3 times. So you do 20 to 30 breath in and out. Then you hold it, and then you do that again, and you do that again. So you repeat it 3 times, and that is one set. So I do that now after my meditation breathing. And so he said when we're practicing breathing, we need to make sure that we're in a safe environment. So make sure you're sitting down, make sure you're not standing, or you're not engaging with any activities. So you're laying down. I do that in my bed, so I'm just laying down and just do that. So I do feel lighter. I do feel in my abdomen lighter after the breathing. So he's suggesting to do it in the morning on empty stomach, just because you don't have anything in your digestive system to move things around, and so you can breathe in fully, and your diaphragm will kind of extend it a little bit into your organ, so it expanding better. So I'm thrilled to learn more about his technique and how the immune system related to breathing and his cold exposure. He also take ice bath, and he said if you want to try the cold bath, you can do so by having a shower, for example, a hot shower, and then toward the end, you're just starting off turning all the way to the cold. Maybe first time for about 15 seconds, and then you slowly increasing, and when your body is starting to get used to that. For me, I do that most of the time. Sometimes my body just can't feel like doing it. So for me, I do my hot shower, and then toward the end, I do first time I did it for 5 seconds, and then I slowly increased to 10. So 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Now I can do 30 seconds, but I don't do that every time. I only do that about 90% of my shower, my hot shower. So I know I'm not far from reversing my conditions. I'm very happy of where I'm at right now. I don't have a lot of blister. I haven't had blister develop at all. But I do have some rashes and some hives. I do still need to take the allergy pills, which is the hydroxyzin, and that I think I can deal with that with my conditions. So I'm gonna stop here. It's been a long video, just because there's so much information I can include it, because with the books and 2 books all combined, I just wanted to pick things out what I do for my routine and present it to you guys. So next time I'll be talking about what other method to help me heal. And so thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Take care.